never done YouTube before, you come to the right place because I'm going to hopefully save you a lot of time from all the mistakes I've been making for the last few weeks. The first one is, and I really struggled with this, is how to frame this where I'm sitting now with an iPhone. How do you get this square straight on look? Because when you set up your iPhone on a tripod, it picks up everything. It picks up the ceiling, the floor. It's got this huge lens. Took me ages to figure out, and I actually couldn't find anywhere on YouTube about it. And I finally figured it out myself, and it's probably because young people already know it. So how you get this frame? You get your iPhone and you move it about 2 meters away from you. You can't do this on selfie mode. That's the problem. So you can't see us when you're filming, but it's actually not a bad thing because it's better to look at the camera anyway. Often when you can see yourself, you're looking instead of the camera. Anyway, so you move the camera 2 meters away, and then you hit 2. You zoom in, and I presume the 2 is like 2 times, but hit the 2 and then move the tripod back and forth. Don't zoom in and out like that, because apparently 2 is the best technical number to have it on, because if it's between 1 and 2, it does something digitally that's not as high quality as if you just hit 2. So that might save you a few weeks just there, because it took me 3 weeks to figure that out. The next thing I did, I purchased a really good magnetic phone holder. I paid a bit extra, so the one I got, it swivels and it goes this way and that way, and it just sits on top of a standard tripod. I already had a tripod, so I didn't need to buy one, but I think you can get tripods from Kmart. They're pretty cheap, or Amazon. It's an extra strong magnet, and the advice I'd give you is before you film, if you're going to film in this format, because it's actually so far zoomed in, if it just moves slightly, you can put the whole thing out of whack. So before you film, just make sure your phone's quite tight, not loose, because if you push play and your phone's loose, it could stick the whole thing out of whack, and you're not going to know until after you finish filming. So the other thing I accidentally learned is this chair here, it's got 2 lines. And if you set your phone to grid, you'll get the grid with the 9 squares. Your head should be in the top square or thereabouts with a little bit of headroom. I like this framing, you may not, but that's how I've set it up. And then I line up these two lines on my chair with the grid marks. So I get pretty close to being in the center. After that, you've got to have sound. If you've been looking at tutorials about video, everyone says people will forgive a crappy picture, but they won't forgive crappy sound. So I bought a little wireless sound microphone set. This is the case it comes in. I got one with 2 on it just in case I ever do podcasting or have an interview, and it charges in the case. So I'll show it to you. It comes in this little bag, and this mic doesn't actually work. This is just one I had. And the reason I've got this sitting here is because when I had it on my lapel or on here, it was either too high, my hair made noise, I'd hit it when I was talking for whatever reason. So what I've done here, this has just got a sock on it. This is magnetic. It comes with a magnet, so you can put it on your top. But I put the magnet under the sock here. You'll see the magnet there. And then I just pop the sock on. That goes on there, that way, and pop that there. So that's what I did. Then I've marked on my table here where it sounds best. So I just put number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and I found this was the best position for the sound. Now, I've put a link in the description if you want to buy one of these. It was $127. But that's for the double one. So it may be cheaper for the single one. So there's a link there anyway if you're interested in that. So they're the pieces of equipment I bought. I also bought some lights. I haven't figured out how to use them properly. And this is a huge mistake. Don't try it. I kept setting the lights up and then running around and recording and setting the lights up and run. Anyway, you can't do it. You need to get someone to sit there and then light them, and then you sit there and film yourself. Because if you do anything else, it's just a catastrophe. I'm sitting in natural light at the moment, and it's the best I can do until I can get someone here and set up the lighting. I got those lights as well. They're called box lights or something, but they have a filter and there's 2 of them. I got them for $89.99, and I'll show them on screen. They're actually really good. They come with a remote control. Hang on. I don't think they're plugged in. There's one in front of me. I'll see if it's plugged in. Oh, it is. So they both are on remote control. You can use the one remote. They come with 2, but you can use the one remote for both of them. And then they come with different. So that's 100% white. And then it can go down to 50 and then down to 20. Then there's a warm. They've got all these different settings. There's warm, there's cool, and then you can play around with them. So I probably look really shit, and that's why I'm not actually using these lights. But I want to use them because this natural light, as the sun comes and goes, it changes. So it's not great. I've got heaps more tips. When you're sitting here, just have a pen and paper so you've got notes. And as soon as you film, put that up right up to the camera and push record and then pull it away. Because when you go to edit later, if you're in a setting like I am, when you download the videos, every single video looks the same and you've got no idea which one you want to use. So as soon as you have to have it over there, because if you come over here, it's not going to show it on the first frame. So you have to do it right up at your phone before you come and sit down. That's if you're doing the 2 meter thing. The next thing is I have a mirror here because I've got terrible hair. That just goes everywhere. So I just check my hair. It actually doesn't look too bad, although I think there's some sticking up. I've done whole videos where I've come down and my hair's sticking out like this, and I've had to redo the whole thing because I can't even watch it. It's so distracting. So if you're not doing selfie mode, have a mirror there. The other thing I have is all my chargers. I have my chargers underneath here. So this goes on a charger. My phone goes on a charger. And when I'm not filming, I stick everything on charge because there's nothing worse than being in the middle of filming and batteries go flat. What I've noticed, I'm making this video because I've got another channel and I want to put my progress from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, tell all my viewers how I'm doing, how many subscribers I'm getting. So many people do it, right? And it's really interesting. And I absolutely think you should. But the problem with that is I've seen some creators, they go crazy because everyone wants to know their setup and what they're doing. And they're not actually interested in the channel that they're trying to promote. So I'm doing an experiment here. I've set up a completely separate channel just for my weekly updates so that the algorithm doesn't get confused and it doesn't keep sending me to people that want to set up YouTube or find out how many subscribers you can get in so many days and how much you get paid, etc. So my advice would be don't do it on your own channel, set up a separate channel. In addition to that, I had a really interesting situation. I set up a channel about gardening and I didn't really know anything. So those were under 3 minutes. They went straight to shorts and I got heaps and heaps of views on shorts. And then I thought, hang on, I don't want a shorts channel. I want a long form channel. So I posted all these long form videos, but really it had recognized me as a shorts channel. As much as you do searches and it tells you that's not true, YouTube pushes all your videos out equally, that's not been my experience. My experience is that those shorts are still doing really well. I've got 10 long form videos and they've pretty much had about 50 reach each and 1 or 2 views, not even. And they're just not pushing it at all. So I think whether even YouTube knows it or not, once you're recognized as a long form or short form, that's what gets filtered to you. That's why I'm doing this separately so that the algorithm doesn't get confused with my actual channel trying another experiment. I've got a Girls with Assets long form channel and a Girls with Assets short channel because I've got heaps of shorts I'm putting on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook that are getting thousands of views, but I don't want to put them on my main channel and that main channel becomes a shorts channel because that's not what I want. So if you're interested in my little experiment and you want to follow me, I'm going to update on how all 3 channels are going to go, how all 3 channels work, what the statistics are, if I monetize any of them, how many subscribers I get, all the stats. I'm really excited about it. So hit subscribe. That's the other thing you got to do. You got to keep asking people to subscribe because if you don't subscribe, you may never see me again. And then you might be curious and think, I wonder what happened to that woman, KP's my name. I wonder what happened to KP who was doing those 3 experiments. Or drop a comment and tell me what your experience is. If you think what I'm doing is stupid or whether it's smart or whether you've had similar experiences. Thanks so much for watching. I'm really excited and hopefully I'll see you in the videos in the months and weeks to come. Thanks. Bye.